Hello and welcome to another episode of Douglasville Impact Community Podcast. I'm Jason Post, and we've got a great show ahead of us with a great panel of guests at the table this morning, and we're going to introduce everybody. Let's just work our way around the table. Joining us once again, we got Miss Allison Parker.
Hello.
We got Mr. Christian Molina.
Hi.
And joining us for the first time at the table is our County District Attorney, Miss Dalia Racine.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Awesome. Everybody having a good week?
Mm-hmm.
Fun week? Mm-hmm. Enjoying 2023 so far?
Interesting week. Yes.
Yes, good stuff. All right, well, let's just jump into it so we can get to Miss Racine and talk about all the fun things she's got. So let's start off with Miss Allison. What do we got going on? You talking about some news today?
Yes, I am.
Right.
So the first thing, we want to recap some proclamations that Mayor and Council gave to some of our community organizations a few weeks ago. They were recognized for their commitment to our Adopt a Road programs, which is a great program through Keep Douglasville Beautiful. It's open to any residents, community organizations, churches, businesses. If you find yourself riding down the street and you're always upset or you notice some litter, we welcome you to join our Adopt a Road program and get involved with some community service and getting your group together. But there were a few organizations that were recognized for just their continued commitment throughout the year. And so it was great. There were a lot of organizations. I'll quickly name them. AKA here in Douglas County, the Sigma Omega Omega chapter, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, Cameron's Cleaning Crew, Haley's Angel, Kappa Alpha Psi, the Carrollton Douglasville alumni chapter, our local NAACP chapter. We had the Omega Alpha Xi sorority, international Mason organization, and then Omega Psi Phi. There were a lot of organizations represented.
There's a lot of people. Yeah.
If you go to our Facebook page and see the photo, you will see there were a lot of people represented.
Yes.
But we just wanted to take the time out to thank them for helping us keep Douglasville beautiful. So
That's awesome. Allison, can I say this? I have done Adopt a Road before and had the cleanup duty for that.
Mm-hmm.
You see some really interesting things on the roadside. So, it's not just great community service. It also can be very interesting
absolutely
to partake in.
Yeah.
Agreed.
How'd this get here?
Agreed. Right.
And why is he here?
Or who would dump that? Like, what were you doing to actually throw this
What's the
over here?
story behind
this? So again, we have various programs that organizations, community, churches, or if you just want to get a group of your friends together to kind of help give back here locally, you can visit our website, douglasvillega.gov, and under government, go to Keep Douglasville Beautiful, and you'll see all the programs that they offer.
Yeah.
So it's awesome opportunity. The next thing is for those of you who have been by Fowler Field Park recently, you will see that it is currently under construction, but we are excited to announce that we are unveiling a ADA accessible new playground.
Right.
So I know the bad news is that unfortunately you can't go to Fowler Field right now. We understand. Yes, it's just temporary, but these are some of the upgrades you can expect to see. The first thing, which you can also see the rendering on our website and on our social media pages, is the rubber flooring, which for those of you who have little kids or if you need special features or anything like that, it helps with walking and keeps it just nice and level. So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Being a parent to a toddler and a crawler also, we appreciate the rubber flooring because the wood chips, they be wood chipping.
Yeah.
They be chipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun. And then you find them everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere. So we're excited about the rubber flooring. There's going to be a variety of play activities. So there's some climbers. There's some musical components involved.
Yeah.
There's some imaginative play, some reach panels, which make it accessible for everyone to participate. And then there are a few other little things that they're trying to get in there.
Yeah.
So our expected completion date is mid to late February.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
What? That's like a month.
It's not too far
It's
away.
not.
No.
And here's the thing. There are other city parks that you can visit in the interim. So we encourage you to go to Hunter Memorial Park, Mill Village, or Willing Workers. And then in a few more months, we'll be rolling out some renovations at some of our other parks. But it's an exciting time for parks and just updating our playgrounds to make them accessible for everybody.
So that rubber flooring is soft when you fall, but it's also solid. So like you said, it's an ADA accessible playground. So if you have wheelchairs and things like that, can roll out onto the play area
You can.
safely and stuff as well, which is nice. And it's also getting a cover, right?
It is. The goal is to provide shading on most of the playgrounds here in the city, as well as provide seating so that, us parents don't have to stand there the whole time and watch the kids while we're yelling at them. We'll be able to sit down and be nice and shaded.
And those of us who burst into flames when they walk out in the sun will have a shaded spot to sit in.
Correct. So just be on the lookout for those improvements coming to Fowler Field. Once you go, tag us in your photos. Let us know how you like it. But there was a lot of excitement when we posted it this week, and so we're really looking forward to being able to unveil it and provide this new amenity to our community.
And are they doing some other stuff at Fowler Field as well? Or
they will eventually start phasing it to the walking trail because we know the walking trail needs a little bit of renovation as well. A little bit of love, but we're working on that. So first it's a playground, and then eventually it will go to the field and then the walking trail as well.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So I, for one, will be there.
All right, is that all of our news for this week?
That is all the news I have for right now.
Okay, more to come.
More to come.
All right, well, then we'll move along to Christian, who's going to talk about some events, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, what are some fun things we got coming up in the city if people want to get out and just do some stuff?
Yeah, we got a couple of great family-friendly events. So we can start off with the Douglasville Police Town Hall meeting that's going to take place January 31st. So that's very close.
That's coming up real quick.
Yes. Tuesday, January 31st from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. and it's going to be held at the Douglasville Public Safety Complex. So if you Google 2083 Fairburn Road, you'll be able to go right over there.
And they do those pretty regularly.
Yes.
Ms. Racine, you've probably been at some of those town hall meetings with the chief.
It's fantastic. It's an amazing way to connect with the community, bridge the gap, understand what your police department's doing, because it's so important. So having that relationship is really important. So I definitely encourage folks to go too.
And this is probably, if I had to guess, this is going to be the chief giving his end-of-year stats.
The topic
updates.
is a 2022 end-of-the-year report and also the violent crime statistics for that same year.
Okay. Can I just insert myself here real quick to say, sometimes it could be very overwhelming to hear those statistics all lump sum together, but let's just emphasize and embrace Douglasville, Douglas County is an amazing place to live. Even though everywhere is going to have crime, and it is important that we're informed, but it is still such an amazing place to be, and we are very safe. And so we have great law enforcement, we have great community partners. So go learn, listen, help us to do the work that we do, because it really is. It's important for us to be engaged.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they, like I said, this is a great opportunity. They do these often. The public can just come out. You can talk to the chief and all of his command staff are there and just kind of ask them questions. They're going to give these stats. And they'll kind of give you an overview of how these stats compare to other places.
Absolutely.
And I think you're right. You see a lot of stuff on social media and things like that, and it's so instant. Whenever anything happens anywhere, you see it on social media, and people think, "Oh my gosh, look at all the bad things." But that's just emphasized on social media. And when you look at the grand scheme, when you look at all the stuff, and you look at the stats, and you compare it to other cities and communities, we are a very safe place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they do a great job. And as a police force, they're very community oriented and stuff. So they're always open to just talk to you. Just stop by the police department, whether they're having a town hall or not. You just stop by and say, hey, and the chief's always happy to chat with people. So, so what else we got going on?
Very open and transparent. So the next event is with Parks and Rec. So they have a therapeutic recreation program, and so this event is titled Sweetheart Dance. Yeah. It's going to be held Friday, February 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Ike Owens Community Center, and the address for that is 8830 Gurley Road. So this is more of a special program for individuals with disabilities. It's not just for disabilities, right? So, but they do want to create this special event to tailor these specific community. But everyone is welcome. There's going to be crafts and games and music, food. The admission is free, so you can just they do encourage registration. They do. Yeah, so the registration is going on until February 2nd. So if you go to our socials, you can see the event, or go to douglasvillega.gov, and you can find it there as well. Yeah. The next event is Douglasville Arbor Day Celebration. This is going to be on February 17th from 2 to 3 p.m. at Hunter Memorial Park. Same address, 8830 Gurley Road. And this is it's just like a community event, community. What do you call it?
It's just our Arbor Day kind of celebration. So it's more of a it's more of a celebration type event. I don't know that they're doing any like Arbor Day activities as much as they're recognizing. I think we just put in some trees. KDB put in some trees and stuff around the ball fields to help bring some shade once again, which is nice. So I think they're going to be, recognizing all the people who did some work and planted the trees, and they have some little saplings,
giving out some some new.
Yeah, so come celebrate Arbor Day, basically.
Yeah, I love seeing new trees around.
Yeah, trees are great, and my wife's the same way. She hates to see trees come down. So trees going up is a good thing.
Unless they're too close to your house.
Yes.
That's the only exception.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I felt bad when I had to cut up a couple of trees on my property, but then I did planted more.
There you go. So. You replaced them in a nice safe space.
Yes.
Farther out.
So their next event, it's our 2023 Behind the Veil Bridal Showcase. Now, this was discussed in our last podcast a little bit, so if you want to go back to that last one, you can to listen more in detail about the event. But just to highlight, the date is going to be February 19th from 2 to 4:30 p.m. at the Douglasville Conference Center. Moving right along, we have our Parks and Rec Kids Day Off Winter Break Camp. This is from February 20th to the 24th, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and at the Hunter Park Ike Owens Community Center. This is a $85. There is an $85 fee per participant, ages 5 to 12, and this is a really just fun camp for kids, where they can have. They'll go on field trips. They have a lot of activities at the park, build a quilt, a special craft that they're doing this year. And so your $85 fee covers all the field trips, and it also includes the lunch, not the lunch. So you do have to provide that for yourself. But the field trips are included in whatever other.
Anything they need for the crafts.
Yeah, everything they need for the crafts
and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it covers that, and the counselors and the field trip. So the Parks and Department is usually really good. Anytime school is out with a winter break, fall break, spring break, things like that, plugging in our kids day off camps, to help give parents an option.
Yes.
Also,
a little
break.
And a break, So they do a good job of always kind of plugging in those camps for parents, and they're really fun looking camps. They do all kinds of really fun looking stuff. They go to great field trips. I'm not sure what all they got lined up for this one, but in the past I know they've gone to Six Flags, and they've gone exploring and hiking and things like that to some fun, exciting places. So you never know what the crew over at the parks is going to have in store for the camps. Yeah. So they're always fun though.
Yes.
And they're always safe. It's a nice, safe place for your kids to be, because there's trained counselors and our staff members and things like that. So it's somewhere you can feel secure. Right. Dropping your kids off, for a camp. So.
And give them an opportunity to socialize a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Great. So I did the materials is the word that I was looking for earlier. I just.
Thank you. Way to bring it back.
Right. I do know my words. And then the last event that we have is our Douglasville's 148th birthday celebration. That's coming up next month, Saturday, February 25th at 6 p.m. It's going to be held at the Cultural Arts Center. The address is 8652 Campbellton Street, located right across the street from the Douglasville High School, if you're familiar. So we're going to have some art, live music, food, some door prizes as well. Yeah. Just going to be a fun event for everybody to just get together and socialize as well.
It'll be our nice, elegant evening celebration of our 148th birthday. We look pretty good for 148, right?
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah.
Someone asked what the attire was. I said grown and snazzy.
Grown and snazzy.
Okay.
All right.
I like that.
Yes.
like I said, I think we said last week. Every year we have kind of done it different. Last year was a little bit more of a kid's birthday party kind of feel. This is a little bit more of a an elegant kind of adult birthday party kind of feel.
That's right.
Come out, have a nice evening with art and music and heavy hors d'oeuvres, and it's going to be a nice kind of fun,
So
elegant
nice.
date night kind of evening, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
line up your babysitters.
That's right.
You got some time.
In reserve.
So we'll have, the art exhibits are there, and we're going to have some of the local artists talking about some of the art that is there as well, and we're going to be giving away some art. So
That's nice.
Yeah, right?
Look at us, our birthday, and we're giving away things.
I know, right?
Y'all are so nice.
Douglasville is such a great place to live.
So that's the end of our
That
event list?
concludes. Well, yep.
That's pretty
There's a
long
lot
list.
more if you like to go.
That was just like the next month.
These are just the highlights. If you go to DouglasvilleGA.gov, you can go to our calendars page and you can see everything that's going on.
If you do DouglasvilleGA.gov/events, I think it takes you straight to the events calendar.
There you go.
And you can see all of it. So.
Got a
Super
lot
easy.
going on.
Yes.
And that's just a taste. So, all right. Well, thank you guys both for our news and events. But we're going to talk a little bit with our district attorney, Ms. Dalia Racine. Thanks for coming on and
Thank you for
joining
having
us today.
me.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
So let's start off with just kind of a general explanation of what you do, because personally, all I know of a district attorney is what I've learned off of Law and Order.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe that's accurate.
I
A
assure
little
you
bit
it's
from
not.
night court. Maybe that's not quite as accurate.
I love that you at least have broadened your horizon of where you're learning from. No. And you know what? You're not in the minority. I think a lot of people don't really understand what a district attorney does. We hear it. We've heard it off of the shows and all those different types of things. But what we actually do is we handle all the felonies that happen in our jurisdiction. So a felony offense is basically a crime that can be punishable by a year up to life or death, because in Georgia we do still have the death penalty. So as you can imagine, that is a lot of different crimes, anywhere from drug possession all the way up to murders.
Right.
So all of those different crimes we handle. And I'm sure you've heard Solicitor General. They don't get as much play on all the Hollywood shows, but they are the ones that handle the misdemeanors in a jurisdiction. And so we have a Solicitor General here in Douglas County as well, Sonia Compton. And so they handle any of the offenses that are punishable by 12 months, up to 12 months, and a $1,000 fine. So those are the distinguishing factors. So as you can imagine, it's a lot of different things that fall under our umbrella of what we handle here.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
So you're in court a lot of the time dealing with that kind of thing? Is that kind of the main thing you guys are doing? You're actually trying cases in court?
Yeah, that's one of the main things. Yeah, so we have an amazing team of 53. I think we're up to 53 now.
Nice.
So we are a mix of attorneys who are the ones that actually will go into the courtroom or handle cases. There's some things that you have to be a lawyer to handle. We have amazing support staff, our paralegals. We have our own investigators that are post-certified. What that means is that they have arrest powers.
Right.
And so they do a lot of investigative work. So the law enforcement will hand over the case to us, whether it's the police department or the sheriff's department or GBI or whatever police agency hands it over. And there might be additional work. So they'll go out and they'll look into that and see, what else do they need to learn about the case for us, go find witnesses, things along those lines. And then we have our critical staff of our victim witness advocates. Most people have never been exposed to criminal justice system outside of Law and Order.
Sure.
Or Night Court, or whatever the show may be. And so it's a very different process. It could be a very difficult process depending on what type of offense it is. And so these amazing folks will kind of usher the victims through that process, make sure they're with them, connect them with resources, all sorts of things like that. So that's our team that makes the world go round. We have 3 Superior Court judges that we go to court for, but we also have our juvenile unit, because we also handle all the juvenile crimes that happen here in Douglas County. So we have a team that handles those, and there's 2 juvenile court judges. And we have an appeals unit, because once you get a decision made on whether you're arguing a motion and the judge says something and we say, no, we don't agree with that, or the defense says, no, we don't agree with that, it could get appealed up, or convictions can get appealed. So we have somebody who handles that. And then the other unit that we created, which I'm super proud of, is our PACE unit, Programs, Accountability, and Community Engagement. And so under this umbrella is our accountability courts, which are driven by the judges. So things like drug court, mental health court, opioid court, where we're really trying to tackle the issues that bring people into the criminal justice system versus just incarcerating our way out of the problem. Let's go ahead and try to figure out what is the issue. Let's fix that issue so we can push them out of our criminal justice system. And then we also created our own pretrial diversion program, which is focused on younger offenders, those that have really just kind of made really bad decisions, but aren't bad people. And so figuring out how do we redirect them. And we have partnered with several community folks to help them with things like financial literacy, resume building, how do you get a job, how do you keep a job, mental health treatment, all these parameters that we think when we put in place around a person and surround a person can really help them holistically and ideally get them out of the system. We don't want to see people back. It's called recidivism when they come back. We don't want to see them back. So if we can help to fix the things that bring them into our system, we're doing everything we can to do that.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. Yeah, and I know that's a big focus for the police department as well. And I know Chief Sparks has a lot of programs and stuff geared toward engaging with the community, connecting with the community, working with parents, working with kids, working with youth, trying to keep them out of jail, essentially, right? Not just, they understand what their job is, but they're working hard not just to lock people up, right? But to try to avoid locking people up if we can, right?
Yeah.
And I know you guys work hand in hand with the sheriff and the police department on a lot of those community outreach activities and stuff like that. Talk about a little bit about that relationship with the sheriff's department and the police department and the DA's office and how that works.
I think that there are a lot of different ways to go about your approach as a DA's office with your law enforcement partners. I have the luxury of knowing DAs from across the state, across the country, and some have very antagonistic relationships with their law enforcement. And I think here in Douglas County, we're really, really blessed to be in a situation where we have a phenomenal working relationship with our law enforcement partners. It's not to say we don't have issues. I mean, if you are in any kind of relationship with any other entity, person, whatever, there's going to be issues. But what we have become really good at is communicating. It's not, us against each other. It's us against this issue. Let's figure out what's the best solution. How do we come to a conclusion? And what's really great is that we've established a relationship where we can communicate, where we can listen, where we can build trust, and we can really be confident that we're coming up with the best answer collectively. I don't have all the answers. They don't have all the answers. But you know what? Maybe if we put our heads together, we could figure it out. So that's been an amazing relationship that we've been able to have with that.
That's good. And then that benefits the entire community.
Absolutely.
And I think that is going to come a little bit when you're talking about your focus on your PACE stuff and your focus on trying to help keep people out and try to help people, to curb them away from the bad stuff that they may be heading down the right road. That's the same exact kind of vision that we hear come from the chief all the time.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think you guys have the same goal in mind. So with some of those other organizations in other cities, you may see the cops who are like, well, we arrested this person, we're ready to throw him in jail. And then the DA's office says, well, you don't have enough this, that, the other. That's where the headbutting comes in, where they don't have the same inroad, the end goal in mind. It sounds like you guys are all on the same page that you want to keep the community safe, but we also want to look at ways to help these people.
Absolutely.
Because you have some kids that just end up in bad situations and start doing bad things. And that's what the chief looks at a lot is what can we do to help put them on the right path, rather than just lock them up and move on to the next thing. What can we do to help put them on the right path before it gets beyond the point of no return?
You got to be smart on crime. We tried tough on crime, and we saw that we just created better criminals. So, being able to kind of use the scalpel instead of the sledgehammer when it comes to our approach of how do we respond to criminal justice reform and what we want. What do we want our community to look like? I'm an elected official. The community selected to put me here. I serve my community, and so I have to listen to my community. What do you want? What is the best, avenues? What is the best resources? What is the best approach that you all think? And ultimately, it might be general concepts, and we got to get in the weeds and figure out, okay, how do we get there? But we're going to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. Yeah, I know I've heard the chief say a number of times, if you take a kid who's done something wrong, who's not a career criminal, who's just ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time or made a stupid decision, and you lock him up for 5-10 years, you're creating a career criminal. You're putting him in the jail, and he's learning a lot more stuff in jail.
Yeah.
About how to do crime better, like
Yeah.
you said. So it's great that you guys have that same kind of goal in mind, and are walking down the same path. That's awesome.
And let me say, we also we unfortunately have the opportunity to see some genuinely bad people.
Yeah.
And so, for us, a lot of it is limited resources. I mean, we obviously have folks that are interested in doing this work, but it doesn't matter how much money you give to any agency, you're always going to have limited resources.
Yeah.
And so for us, is being able to really focus on those individuals that we know are not safe to be back in our society.
Right.
Those are the folks that we need to focus our attention on and our resources on. And again, making sure that we could kind of separate those that we're mad at versus those we're scared of, and making sure we respond appropriately.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so are there any other specific community engagement programs or anything like that you guys offer that you're working with that you want to talk a little bit more about today?
So it's like the timing is perfect because today we just had we launched our planning meeting where we're trying to launch a juvenile mentorship program. So like I said, we handle the criminal cases that occur in juvenile court. And in talking with our juvenile programs, we kept hearing there's a lot of great resources. They have a lot of great things going on in the diversion programs. But one of the things that they are lacking is mentorship. It's just there's not enough individuals that are willing to engage with this population. I think, anybody whose criminal justice system involved gets a stigma. Somehow it's like the scarlet letter, and somehow people don't want to interact and be involved, regardless of whether they've paid their debt to society or not.
Right.
And the juveniles in the system are not immune from this, unfortunately. And so we really reached out to a lot of our community partners, our Divine Nine, a lot of the organizations that you read for Adopt a Road were represented today, various other community members that came together, and we said, we don't want this to be a DA's office program. We want this to be a community launched program. And so we brought everyone to the table, and we're starting to plan and work out the logistics. What do we want this mentorship program to look like? Really kind of getting into the logistics of it. And so we have a couple more meetings coming up. So really excited about that, being one of the big community events that we are going to plan. We do plan before the end of this year, we plan to launch an expungement fair. So just so y'all know, we're going to have a little Law 101. But there are record restriction events where basically when a person has completed their sentence, or if it was just an arrest on their record, and there's other stipulations to it, but just keeping it kind of surface, that they're entitled to get it removed from their criminal history from what employers can see, right? So because we know even with folks that are willing to employ individuals that have a record, there's still, a big, again, stigma for folks that have a criminal history. And so the expungement fair allows those that qualify to come in, and it's a one-stop shop for them to apply to get this removed from their record, and so that they are more employable, they have more housing opportunities, they have more just opportunities in life generally. So that's a big thing we're doing.
Very nice.
And then the only other thing that I would mention right now, because I will take up hours and hours of your time talking about all the amazing work that our team is doing, is we're going to launch our Justice Integrity Unit by the end of the year as well. And the purpose of this is twofold. So the first is sentence reconsideration. So say an individual, 15 years ago was sentenced to life for possession of drugs, where we now understand that this is an addiction issue, this is a mental health issue. They can then apply to get their sentence reviewed to see if there's a more appropriate sentence that could be put in place. And then the other side of that coin is where you actually have claims of innocence, where you say that you were wrongfully convicted. And we're partnering with Georgia Justice Project and some other organizations to help facilitate this process so that we can have a really robust response. Now, there's one more, if I may.
Absolutely.
The floor is yours.
Keep them coming. Yeah, they're all great.
We are launching a restorative justice program. We are super excited about that. There's only 2 DA's offices in the entire state of Georgia that are doing this approach. We are the guinea pigs, for lack of a better term. And so we understand that, the criminal justice system does not always bring healing to victims. It doesn't always bring, all the answers they're looking for. And so we're partnering, again, with Georgia Justice Project to launch what's called restorative justice, which is the ability for the victim to say, I want to speak to this person who committed this crime against me because I want to know why. Why did you do this to me? What made you pick me? Why did you, break my window? Why did you do whatever the offense may be? And when that victim initiates saying, I want to know this information, they will then reach out to the defendant to say, are you willing to have this conversation with this individual? And they make sure that everybody's going to be on the same page, because what we do not want to do is cause more harm, obviously. Right, but what happens is they come together in the room. The victim is able to hear from the offender about those answers that they want. The offender is allowed to be held accountable and to actually apologize to the victim for what they have done and have a deeper understanding of what it is that they have done and the harm that they have caused. And other jurisdictions in other states have done this, like with juvenile court and certain other offenses as well. It's not, we didn't invent this, let me be clear. And what they show is that they have really great results with reducing recidivism, again, coming back into the system. Because it's one thing to sign a piece of paper saying that you are guilty for doing something. It's another to stare that person you harmed in the face and to hear how you harm them and to truly, genuinely show remorse for that. And that impact sometimes is a lot more different. And so there have been great results with it. And so we're very excited to be a part of this pilot project and hope that we are going to have amazing results here too, in Douglas County and Douglasville. So very excited about it.
That's awesome.
That sounds great. Yeah, I think anything that you can do to help with the like you said, the recidivism.
Yeah.
But when you put the name in the face to a crime or to an issue, I mean, it's going to hit a lot more close to home, and it's going to make a bigger impact.
Absolutely.
So, I think that's great. That's an awesome program. And if, and not everybody's going to be open to it, but if 1 in 10 is able to connect and it could change them, then it's worth it, right?
If we could drop recidivism rates by 10% in our community, we would be like the national landmark success. Like, it would be amazing. And so we're willing to be innovative, because what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting the same result. And so we got to be innovative. We got to try something different and try to make sure that our community is the safest and healthiest that it can be.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Love it.
Love it. All right. That's great. Before we wrap, because I know we're probably running short on time, is there anything else that you want to share with people about?
Wasn't that enough? No.
That was a lot. It was great. That was excellent. So if anybody needs to reach out to you or to your office, how would they find you guys?
So we have a website, and we're on all the social medias. So definitely please reach out to us there. We are at Douglas County DA, is our handle on pretty much all we're even on TikTok. And so, like, we have somebody who handles all of it, and she's amazing. And I'm like, I don't actually know, like, are we dancing on there? But, like,
are you dancing on TikTok?
No. I had my stint at dancing.
Which you did a great job.
Yeah, but second place, come on. I still feel like Paul Zacco's, like, it was a setup. Thank you. No, it was an awesome experience. So, we are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, we are on all the things. So please follow us, because we do push a lot of information out there, because we are definitely firm believers in being community partners, eliminating the ivory tower. We are here to serve, not to be served. And so we want to make sure that the community is hearing from us, that we are hearing from the community. And then we also have our website, which is I hope I'm getting this right. If not, hopefully there'll be a little blurb over what I'm saying right now to get it right. But DouglasCountyDA.org is our website. And I think you could also do .com. I feel like we got both of them, because I mess it up all the time. So it should all be there. So please check it out, because we would love to have y'all see what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Because we definitely follow what you guys are doing. We're moving 1,000 miles an hour. It's amazing.
Yeah, all these are great programs, and anything we can do to share it out and get the more people to know about the programs that you guys are doing, the better. If anybody has any organizations or anything like that wants to connect with the DA's office for the mentorship program and things like that you got going on, I'm sure volunteers and organizations and people are always needed.
Always. And if not, we have different partners that we know are always looking. I will also say that I serve on the board for the Douglas County Task Force, which handles our forensic interviewing, our sexual assault, domestic violence, and child abuse first responders. And for Share House, which is our local domestic violence sheltering location, who are always in need, both organizations in need of resources, in need of services and assistance. So if we can't take you in under our wings, we will send you out to those that are definitely in need as well. So reach out, and we can definitely make those connections.
Plenty of need.
Plenty of need.
Get involved. There's plenty of places to do that.
Yes,
awesome.
for sure.
Well, thank you for coming out and joining us and talking about all the great things that you guys are doing to help keep our community safe and making it the wonderful community that it is. So
it is an amazing. It's the best community.
You think so?
Hands down.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for what you're doing. I mean, a lot of times people don't see that overlap, but really, like, having a thriving, healthy community helps reduce crime. Yeah. It helps keep us safe. And so all the things that you're doing help us out in so many ways. So thank you guys so much for everything.
We talk about that a lot when we have, like, when we have Keep Douglasville Beautiful or Keep Douglas County Beautiful, when we talk to them. When you talk about a nice, pretty community and how that connects to crime rates, and it does directly. Yeah. You know, when you look at communities, you can directly tie those things. So everything that the city and the county does affects all the other things. So we 100%. Love working with all that you guys do and everything that our county counterparts do. You know, the more we can work together to make the whole community better, the better. We
Absolutely.
Love that, so.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys again.
Well, thank you, and thank you, Allison and Christian, for the news and events, and thanks to everybody for joining us, and thanks to everybody for watching and listening, and we will see you next time on Douglasville Impact. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.